Hey guys, Epic Blogman here, and today we'll be reviewing Samurai Champloo. This is an anime I really enjoyed because of several factors, which I will go into further into this review. So, Samurai Champloo was created by Shinichiro Watanabe, who's most famously known for creating Cowboy Bebop and the more recent Space Dandy. The story of Samurai Champloo takes place in an alternate Edo period of Japan, but it has a lot of Western influence put into it too. The way the show is presented is very similar to Watanabe's previous work, Cowboy Bebop. Basically, the story is episodic and every episode is different, being a part of one big adventure basically. The real story usually doesn't begin until way later, just like Cowboy Bebop. So the actual plot synopsis in a nutshell is this. So there's this character called Fu, and she's basically a waitress in a tea shop. There's these samurai in the shop, and they're basically trying to hassle her and abuse her. But that is until Mugen, a drifter, jumps into the shop, saves her, and fights off the samurai. But at the same time, Jin, a samurai, enters the shop and fights Mugen, because Mugen is apparently looking for a strong opponent to fight. So it basically ends with them killing the magistrate's son on accident, and the tea shop burns to the ground pretty much. So because of this, Jin and Mugen are basically put on the stand to be executed for killing the magistrate's son. But Fu comes to the rescue. Afterwards, Fu basically asks them to accompany her on a journey. Fu tells Mugen and Jin that she's looking for someone, a samurai who smells of sunflowers. So then they set off on this big journey to find him, while having these crazy side adventures on the side. The characters themselves, the three mains, Mugen, Jin, and Fu, they are very interesting characters. There's a lot of humorous, serious, and other interesting dialogue with these characters. There are also minor characters that show up in the anime that can make up one or two episodes, which adds character to even some minor characters. There isn't actually a definitive protagonist in the series, but there's also not a definitive antagonist. If anything, there's more than one protagonist and more than one antagonist. So the art and animation. The anime was adapted and produced by Studio Manglobe, which, unfortunately, they filed for bankruptcy in 2015. The art in this show felt more like a 2008 anime, despite it being produced from 2004 to 2005. There are very beautifully drawn backgrounds and very, very interesting character designs. From what I remember with the animation, it was extremely solid, considering that a lot of the staff were actually animators at Gonzo and Studio Bones. I think the most notable animator I saw doing scenes was Kazuto Nakazawa, and I will actually show you two of the scenes that he worked on. The music was produced by four parties: Nujabes, or Jun Seba, rest in peace man, Suchi, Fat John, and Force of Nature. What I love about the soundtrack is that there's a lot of variety. The whole vibe of Champloo's soundtrack is this ambient hip-hop vibe with Japanese influence, and it somehow molds well with the anime despite it being a Edo period Japan setting. Some of the tracks feel like 90s hip-hop too, which is probably one of my favorite hip-hop besides 80s hip-hop. The music is what I got introduced to first before I even started watching the anime. I discovered Nujabes' tracks on YouTube, and I also discovered Fat John's tracks on YouTube, and I basically started binge listening to them. There is one thing that does bother me about Samurai Champloo. There's actually a lot of unreleased tracks in the anime that have never gotten released. It's like the same deal with Yu Yu Hakusho, so many unreleased tracks, and people have tried to they've been trying to talk to Fat John and, Suchi and Force of Nature and saying, hey guys, you gotta release this stuff, As for sound effects, the sound effects in the anime are very good. Now, for the actual voice acting, I did not watch the Japanese dub, but I'm sure it's very, very good. I watched the English dub, and I actually really enjoyed it, because you have, Steve Bloom as Mugen, and you have Kirk Thornton as Gene. Two great voice actors. I also recognize a lot of other voice actors in the anime, so overall I would say that the dub of this anime is very solid. Now, for a final verdict, I would definitely recommend Samurai Champloo. If you love Watanabe's works like Cowboy Bebop or Space Dandy, or if you just want a solid, interesting anime about samurai, action, adventure with hip-hop undertones, then you'll really enjoy it. I would give Samurai Champloo an 8 out of 10. I also really love the opening song Battle Cry by Nujabes and Shing too. And the ending theme was great too, Shiki no Uta. Both opening and ending themes were great. But that's it for now, guys. I hope you enjoyed my review of Samurai Champloo, and I will see you guys next time.